was just making sure it was working. Just a quick test.
You're like,
hey, you don't got them glasses on. Well, look at my glasses in this light. Look at my glasses on the screen. So maybe I should contact Hannah and get different lenses. I'm just being comfortable, you know.
Me too,
I don't
but
even care how big I look anymore because truthfully, I am big. So what am I gonna do about it, you know? All right, you ready?
I guess I'm a little scared. I took too big of a drink of Monster at first, so I was like, "There's not going to be any room."
I did a little tiny sip and swished it.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes I get scared about Jaeger, and then I'm like, no, it's good. He is good. He does just because he just lays there. But when he's too close to people, he gets ideas. You know?
Yeah, he gets ideas.
He like wants to touch you and like lick you.
Yeah,
and then like turn around.
I think we might have Brad on the NBA train.
Finally. Oh, right. Well, if you love basketball,
he was really good. Oh, he was like, it's already the third quarter. He was like, we may as well just wait. You want to know something really funny though? He loves Giddy.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I get it. Well, here's the thing. I get it because Giddy has that sort of Timothy Chalamet look about him. Huh?
He's a saucy Aussie. That's what Clinton was calling him.
Did you see that Steph tried to pass to Clay and he wasn't there?
No.
Because I got Clay now.
Yeah.
And I used to hate watching Clay, but I'll tell you what, he's been looking pretty good.
I know. I just don't like I literally don't like watching him.
Yeah, I don't like his hair. His hair and headband combination is taking me back to like the 70s.
No, it gives Squidward. It does. Sweatband Squidward. That's what it looks like.
It does. Oh, hockey. I've decided I am a Blackhawks fan.
Oh, okay.
I've converted.
Okay.
I just think it makes sense. It's easy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
We're back
for a second episode.
2 Mondays in a row.
2 Mondays in a row. We're back. I'm Courtney.
I'm Santana.
And this is Murder, It's a Crime. Oh, anything you're currently obsessed with?
Well, basketball's back.
Basketball is back.
I don't think so.
My current obsession is hockey. I'm watching teams I don't even care about just so I can learn it. And so I can learn who players are.
Right. I don't think so.
You want to get into hockey with me? You want to go to a Riverman game?
Yeah.
It's only like $12. And it's like $24 to sit on the glass.
Oh, we're getting on the glass.
We're sitting on the glass.
We're going to the glass.
And we're going to pound on it. And we don't know any of these players.
That was my painting from Saturday.
That's cute. I need closer. I don't have my glasses on. I like the splatters.
That's I added to it because it looked like shit. So I was just like kept going and going.
Love the splatters.
I was like going. I was like
too much jeans kicking in. I was doing something the other day and I was like, I have to walk away from this or it's just not going to be good.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Okay.
Which celebrity would you choose to be your best friend?
Oh my God, that's so weird because I was thinking about this on the way here. Just in a different way in my head. I was kind of thinking about it. Taylor Swift.
Okay.
No, I would.
Do you think she would
be fun?
Do you think she is the person she portrays herself to be?
I think so.
Okay. It's such a good question that I don't have an answer for it.
I think that honestly, I feel like she has to be because by now somebody would have said something.
Unless she's making people sign NDAs.
That's true, but
which you should.
I mean, there's even been people that have had known beefs with her and it's still nothing that crazy comes out.
You're right.
You know.
You're right.
People try her. They try her.
Yeah. She has good lawyers. That's a good one.
I don't even remember why I was thinking about it. There was a song that was on and it made me think of something. I don't know.
Who's mine? Who could you see me being friends with? Oh no.
No, I'm just trying to think of people
I don't see them having friends.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. I don't literally would not see them just being like.
Now
that's
interesting to think about. Is like those people really do. I mean, like you have to have people sign NDAs,
right? Because
especially people working on your tour.
Yeah.
If you're anonymous like that, which I mean, you can Google their identities if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I would too.
I'm in a sleep token group, and these people are serious in there
about not looking up their identities.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I'll do what I want. So
yeah, also shut up.
Right, like I'm not spreading their identities around. Like I'm not out here saying their names.
Right, but I mean, if it's like something you can find that's just like so simple, like
it's on Reddit. You can Google sleep token, and his name will pop up.
Right,
Vessel's name will pop up. So, hey. Whatever.
You guys need to stop complaining about everything.
Literally. Meanwhile, I complain about everything.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing about basketball.
Oh.
We're gonna go circle like that.
Yeah.
They were kind of getting into it too because they're like, we don't watch the NBA and blah blah. Dawn's like, I don't watch it ever. She's just all about the '90s basketball, and,
right?
You know, she didn't listen.
I know.
Whatever, but they kept watching, and they were like, oh, Zach LaVine. Okay. Oh, they were like, and me and Ashley were doing that thing where maybe I'm kind of starting to like the NBA.
Kind of like the NBA. Hottest NBA player.
Oh, probably Zach LaVine.
Really?
Or
really?
Oh, Willie.
Willie's starting to like Zach
I think
LaVine.
I'm really starting to like him. I just had blinders on with DeRozan. I just like him because he's on the Bulls.
Oh, you don't like him anymore?
No, I like him, but like I mean, I guess I never really said he was hot, but I did like him.
I think DeRozan has a great personality, especially with the media teams. I don't like when I see these guys acting douchey with their media. I'm like, that's their job.
I know. But also probably Brandon Ingram.
Oh, I see it.
Okay.
I used to really love D'Angelo Russell. I think he is so hot. And then he dyed his hair. No, I'm scared.
The facial hair with the hair is really odd.
You should have seen my reaction when I saw him for the first time.
I might have been like mine. Yeah, I was at the bar.
I yelled.
And I was like,
Desi said, oh no. I said, oh no.
No, and like it's like literally white blonde. Yeah. Like it's like
he should have bleached everything, including the unibrow.
Yeah.
Just nothing. Is this a sports podcast now? I don't know. It's like he's big and then he makes his hair small. He was doing big beard, small hair.
I guess he didn't shave it, but
and haircut alert. Jason Tatum has a new haircut. Okay. Did we do it? Did we ramble?
Okay, I guess that's it.
Okay. Let me pull my notes up.
Should we take another shot before we start?
Yeah. What am I doing? I just tried to.
I feel like we just did that in sync.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a crime, if you ask me. It's not a murder.
Okay.
It is a natural disaster, man-made.
Okay. Are you? Oh, your phone. I was like, you're just reciting.
I'm doing the Deepwater Horizon oil spill.
Okay.
Are you fascinated by oil spills?
Kind of.
Okay.
I'm fascinated by the fact that the water can catch on fire.
Okay, I'm so glad you said that because that's what makes me fascinated by oil spills. But it's just because the oil sits on top of the water.
Oh, you're right.
There's a really cool video, and I shouldn't say it's cool, but it's like a fire tornado in the middle of the ocean. It's crazy.
Okay.
I do have some pictures in here that I'll show you. I'll put them on the screen. Not on this screen, but I'm just clicking around later in post.
Okay.
And this might be kind of quick, but I really enjoyed reading and learning about it. Do you know how oil is extracted?
From the ocean.
Yeah, like do you know all the things?
Well, only from what Mr. Ballin has told me about oil rigs.
Okay, same, which wasn't enough.
Okay.
Actually, love Mr. Ballin, but there's a lot.
Okay.
Excuse me. This was 2010, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I know it feels. Actually, you know what? There's a lot of oil spills, but this one is the biggest.
The big one. Okay.
This oil rig was located 41 miles off the coast of Louisiana, and it was owned and operated by an offshore oil drilling company, Transocean, but leased by BP.
Okay.
It was situated over the Macondo oil prospect in the Mississippi Canyon, which is like the stuff under the water. We don't see it, it's all under
Okay.
The well it was positioned over was located on the seabed 5,000 feet below the surface and then extended another 18,000 feet into the rock. So this was, like I said, the biggest.
Okay.
This formed an oil slick that was 55 or 57,000 square miles of the Gulf. That oil slick.
Okay.
Okay. So since you said you don't know how this works, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of like technical shit.
Okay.
I also said that I was going to do a quick rundown without boring you, but I find this interesting, and I think about oil spills a lot and man-made catastrophes like Chernobyl. And drilling an offshore well involves creating a pathway between the drilling rig and the oil and gas reservoirs trapped beneath the sea. So a deep hole or well bore is drilled through. I did not proofread this at all. Subsea rock and sediment, and these rocky layers can contain trapped water and crude oil and other natural gas under pressure. An unplanned flow of these in the wellbore is known as a kick, and that could be dangerous. So that'd be like, think of like a burp.
Okay.
So like you hit and it like comes back up. Gotcha. So that's a kick.
Okay.
Without careful management, a kick can lead to a blowout, the uncontrolled release of flammable oil and gas from the well. A blowout can be catastrophic, since oil and gas racing to the drilling rig can quickly find an ignition source, leading to a fire or, in this case, an explosion, endangering the lives of the drilling crew. To prevent kicks, drillers pump a dense slurry called drilling mud into the well, creating a barrier between the undersea oil and gas and the piping that leads to the rig. So they call it like a cement, but it's like just mud and shit that they pipe down to counteract pressure that happens. I've learned a lot.
Okay.
If this mud barrier fails or is somehow removed, the safety of the drilling crew depends on a critical piece of equipment located on the sea floor called the blowout preventer, or BOP. A little foreshadow, the BOP was not acting very boppish. Just remember that.
Okay.
I said the BOP was not acting very boppish, I fear. The BOP is a complex electrical and hydraulically powered device that is essentially for controlling the well and, in an emergency situation, preventing a disaster on the platform high above the sea surface. The BOP is connected by the rig by a large diameter pipe called a riser. Plate is a plate. If a kick occurs, the BOP is designed. I'm just going to call it the BOP. The BOP is designed to prevent flammable oil and gas from traveling up the riser to the drilling rig. This is done by sealing the area around the pipe. So there's like a pipe, and then there's like space between the hole and the pipe. And so the BOP is it's sealing that area around that, known as the annular space.
Okay.
To do this, the crew can manually close the pipe rams and donut-shaped rubber devices known as the annular preventers. If those should fail, the last resort is a pair of sharp metal blades known as a blind shear ram. And these are designed to cut the drill pipe and seal the well. The blind shear ram can be activated manually or by automated emergency systems. So like there's two blades and it cuts it and then it seals it. Nothing else can come up.
Okay.
Do you have any questions? That was a fuck ton of information.
No, not really.
Do you kind of understand it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just a pipe going way down. Stuff comes up. There's things that prevent the stuff from coming up. Okay. Are you ready to get into it?
Yeah.
At 8:45 p.m. on April 20th, 2010, a kick occurred in the Macondo well. Oil and gas entered the wellbore undetected, eventually passing above the BOP. So the BOP is at the seafloor. It gets past that.
Okay.
And traveling quickly up the riser toward the Deepwater Horizon and the 126 people on board. Just after 9:40, drilling mud forced upwards by the rising oil and gas suddenly blew out onto the rig. Crew members responded by closing the upper annual preventer in the BOP. However, that did not seal the well as intended, and flammable oil and gas continued to flow into the riser toward the rig.
Okay.
Next, the crew closed the pipe ram. This successfully closed the annular space and sealed the well. However, this proved to be only a temporary fix. Oil and gas that were already above the pipe ram continued to flow inexorable. What was I supposed to say? I was typing really fast.
Is that not a word?
It is, but I think there was supposed to be other stuff with it. Anyways, a bunch of it flowed towards the Deepwater Horizon. As the oil and gas escaped the riser onto the rig, the pressure dropped in the annular space above the pipe ram. But at the same time, the pressure in the drill pipe climbed. Okay. So now we have two different pressures happening, one inside, one on the outside.
Okay.
The drill pipe was closed at the top, but oil and gas continued to flow in from the reservoir below. After analysis, this difference in pressure likely caused the drill pipe to buckle, essentially bending the pipe off center in the BOP, which is why none of that was successful.
Okay.
The buckling pushed the sections of the drill pipe outside the reach of the blind shear ram blades, which eventually proved to be catastrophic. So this also makes me really mad because they knew that this, what they're calling effective compression, which is the differing in the pressures, it was a concern in other drilling operations, but had never been thought to be a hazard to a drill pipe. But like, why? If it's already a hazard, why are we not looking at it from other perspectives if it's a drilling hazard?
It seems like that's the the ongoing thing with like a lot of stories. Like, it's like
oh, we knew that was a problem, but we said we fixed this one.
How many times this is not the same, but it is, because it's like a huge deal. How many times are we going to hear stories where the cameras weren't working?
Right.
Why is it not just a law? Why is it not just a law already that you, as like a business or anything, you have to have working cameras, and it should be something that's like regulated? See, closer. Yes. Yeah. Like everywhere.
Right.
Which is kind of scary, but at the same time, it's like,
I know, but our crime rates are lower in those places because people who, there are always going to be people who do not care and who will commit a crime anyways, but it will stop me from committing a crime.
In the fucking UK, you can't do nothing. Like you have a camera on you. If you're outside, there's probably a camera on you.
That was 8:45. At 9:49 p.m., the flammable hydrocarbons found an ignition source. So that would be like the shit that was flowing up the pipe.
Okay.
They found an ignition source, and the first explosion shook the Deepwater Horizon. With the drill pipe buckled, the explosion and subsequent loss of electrical and hydraulic power from the rig likely activated the automated system on the BOP known as the AMF, or the dead man, which is the blind shear ram.
Okay.
Yeah. Blind shear ram, and cuts the drill pipe. This emergency system is designed to activate when the electric power, hydraulic pressure, and communications from the rig have been lost. However, there's this whole thing, and I don't know shit about hydraulics or electrical shit, but basically there are two pods that work independently but also together. So in order to do their job properly, if the rig loses power, these pods have two 9-volt batteries and one 27-volt battery. However, evidence indicates the blue pod had been miswired at some point before the BOP was lowered to the seafloor. This misfire caused the pod's 27-volt battery to drain, making it impossible for the blind shear rams to work properly. And within the yellow pod, the solenoid for the ram had been miswired. However, this miswire didn't prevent the ram from working. The miswire made it so it could still work, but because the pipe was bent, it didn't cut it all the way. It bent it even more and cut it partially, which means shit's still leaking out.
Okay.
I'd want to know an even more shitty part about all of this. More shittier than the 57,000 square miles or whatever it was of an oil slick. Allegedly, BP knew that these pods were fucked up, but they didn't repair them. So, who's at fault? I don't know. Allegedly?
Who's gassing this hoe?
BP. They also were working, they weren't even draining the well. They were trying to seal it so that a different rig, probably the one that was working properly, could then come in and drain it. They were just saying, okay, yep, this works. Now we're going to seal it off so another rig can come in.
Okay.
Don't worry, they drained it just into the ocean.
Oh.
Because there was a fucking oil spill. Okay, so while trying to seal the well, the drilling slurry being used to contain the hydrocarbons failed and allowed them to flow up. Over a 40-minute period, several things were not recognized. A lot of the reports, the ones done by BP, place a lot of blame on the crew, and that doesn't feel right for me since we know that BP allegedly knew things were fucked up. Fuck BP.
Yeah. Fuck BP.
Anywho,
that's the name of the episode. Fuck BP.
Basically, a surge of explosive, highly pressurized methane gas came flying up the well, got sucked into the intake of the diesel engines, which powered the rig, causing them to over-rev and explode. The explosion was so great that solid 3-inch thick, fire-rated steel doors ripped away from 6 steel hinges supporting them. Within several minutes, other explosions erupted, and before long, the entire deck was ablaze, killing 11 people who really weren't found. They were just like blown off the rig or whatever. They were presumed dead 3 days later.
Right.
BP's executive, Tony Hayward, said, and this is in BP's report, so I don't have to say allegedly to any of this shit. He said, to put it simply, there was a bad cement job. So he's blaming it on that cement slurry that was supposed to prevent that pressure. No accountability, honestly.
Yeah.
It was also later emerged through documents released on WikiLeaks. So I will say allegedly to this one, that a similar incident had occurred on a BP-owned rig in the Caspian Sea in 2008, allegedly. Okay, April 22nd, 10:30 a.m. 2 days after the blowout, the Deepwater Horizon rig sinks to the bottom of the Gulf, 5,000 feet below. I looked up pictures to see what it looks like now, and it's still pretty much intact. They were looking at like animals that were down there. Animals, sea life. I don't call fish animals. That's weird, right? Like crabs. Do you call crab an animal? I know it is an animal, but like it feels weird to call a fish an animal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I block that shit out of my brain. I like that you hold on to it for me. But I do.
You just got a fucking boob job and that's all you can fucking post is your fucking toddies out. I know, me too.
Guys, get us the views. We want tit jobs.
No.
Like I'm so into it, my head's not even in the fucking Roman Empire.
So because I looked up these pictures,
right,
and in this same article, it talked about how there really are still no sea life that lives around in that area just because of the toxic like the chemicals that came out.
Right.
There's also a whole thing about dispersants. I'll get there in a minute. Anyways, these crabs had because they can't molt properly now, so they have moldy shells and full of parasites. They look freaky. Some of them have like no legs.
Her arms were cut off. Her legs were cut off.
The giant steel vessel groaned and cried out for the last time as explosions announced her farewell. Firefighters later admitted that they were fighting a losing battle from the start. Okay, also April 22nd, aerial dispersant operations began. Dispersants were used, including subsea dispersants, and the last aerial dispersant, which is to break up the oil, making it easier to clean up, I guess. However,
sorry, I can't figure out how I'm trying to say it.
Okay, dispersants broke down the oil into smaller droplets, but the effectiveness was questioned because this was a deep water spill. Like that's only going to help the shit that's on top.
Right.
By the way, these dispersants are legal in the U.S., but in many other countries have banned them because when it mixes with the oil, it becomes toxic and sinks, which is why there's no sea life at the bottom of the ocean around this oil spill.
Right.
But surprise, surprise, BP has found their own studies that refute that. So once again, fuck BP. Also, those that worked and volunteered to help clean up the spill or fight the fires now have respiratory problems and memory loss. One guy, 10 years later, still had oil on his boat from the oil spill. He was like showing it. He's like, yep, that's the oil.
Wow.
Okay, on April 28th, they started their first controlled burn. And I do have a picture of that. That smoke is so thick, like you can't see through it.
Yeah.
Oh, made it bigger.
Right.
Altogether, 411 burns were initiated throughout the response, with the last one being August 3rd, 2010. An estimated 1 of every 20 barrels of spilled oil was deliberately burned off to reduce the size of the surface oil slicks and minimize impacts of oil on sensitive shoreline ecosystems and marine life. The black smoke that rose from the water surface during the controlled burns pumped more than 1 million pounds of black carbon or soot pollution into the atmosphere. This amount is roughly equal to the total black carbon emissions normally released by all ships that travel the Gulf of Mexico during a 9-month period. So, just that was what, like 6 months?
Right.
Or not even that?
No.
From April to August.
Right.
May,
That's
June,
like-
July, August. That's 4 months.
Yeah.
Black carbon, whose primary component is often called soot, is known to degrade air quality and contribute to the warming of the Earth's atmosphere. Over 165 controlled burns were conducted, removing more than 3.85 million gallons of oil. On April 28th, the first fishery closures in state waters began, and fisheries are not what they sound like. It's not like a bunch of fish in a farm. That's a fish farm. I had to look this up. Fisheries are the people who fish, like the fishing boats.
Oh, okay.
That's like their companies are fisheries.
Gotcha.
Which, as you can imagine, impacts the economy in those areas, because this was the Gulf. So this affects Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, all also closed in coordination with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. At its peak, 36% of federal waters in the Gulf of Mexico were closed. 36%. Areas were reopened when chemical tests showed safe levels of pollutants. I like that we have to have safe levels of pollutants.
Right. Yeah.
The last one was able to reopen in 2015. That's 5 years. April 30th, a SCAT program was approved to survey the affected shorelines. Apparently, so like your coastal, think of like your beaches. Yes, they were affected, but what was affected the most were the marshlands, because the oil breaks down the soil, which then erodes. There's nothing for the roots to hold on to, and then it just erodes. So they were showing like these big patches of marshland that are now like this big. I mean, in terms of like a map, like
Right.
this big now to this big.
Right.
The SCAT surveys documented surface oiling along, I meant to convert these for us, 2,100 kilometers of shoreline. The oil was stranded on the shorelines of Alabama, Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas. So the whole Gulf, just oil. On May 2nd, BP started drilling a relief well alongside the failed well. For roughly 6 months, the development driller 3 bored downward in the direction of the blown out Macondo well. Then, as the drill bit drew near its target, so about 300 feet, horizontal feet, a perfect aim became imperative, and the 10-person specialized relief well team moved into place. This sounds easy, but it's not, because those rigs are just big. And then I think I didn't type anymore to that sentence, so I don't know.
Okay.
This sounds easy, but it's not. Okay, because those rigs are just big.
Okay.
They are just big floating rigs in the ocean. They're not standing still. That's why it's so hard. By the way, this is future Courtney. Okay, on May 6th, containment domes were designed to collect oil and then removed due to buildup, making them ineffective. And these were like these weird little things that are supposed to like soak up the oil. Didn't work.
Okay.
On May 15th through the 16th, oil siphoning begins. BP inserts a pipe into the riser to siphon off some of the oil spilling to be collected to a vessel on the surface. On the 16th, the second relief well is drilled. And then on the 26th, BP attempts a top kill. The top kill pumps the heavy drilling mud into the top of the well. It rates and pressures high enough to force escaping oil back down the well into the reservoir. However, this was unsuccessful. Also around that time, beach cleanup began in Louisiana. They put plastic pom-poms because they trap the oil. See? They like
Okay.
collect the oil, just like cheerleading pom poms.
Okay.
We got to be innovative here. Biggest oil spill ever.
Yeah.
As I say that like Trump. Biggest oil spills.
Biggest.
From the standpoint of oil, it's the biggest one.
Yeah.
On the 30th, May 30th, a moratorium on Gulf drilling, it was a 6-month moratorium, is issued on all drilling at water depths of more than 500 feet in the Gulf and Pacific. On the 3rd, BP begins using a lower marine riser package cap containment system, but oil still continues to leak from the cap and make its way to the surface. So honestly, BP is just failing all around.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, fail. Look at this turtle covered in oil. That brown stuff, oil. Look at this ocean. Look at this dolphin. That's oil on its head.
I thought that was a boat.
Look at this pelican covered in oil. Devastating. On June 6th, tar balls from the Deepwater Horizon oil spill begin washing on ashore in all 5 Gulf states. Do you know what tar balls are?
Big.
They're not very big. Some of them are big, but for the most part, they're these little, and you shouldn't really mess with them. And they're kind of gooey. They're like soft.
Yeah.
And just so you know, 10 years later, they were still washing up. I know. Fuck them. Okay. Now, on the 10th, BP installed a new capping stack with a tighter seal than the previous. Like, duh. Why are we even trying to put a loose cap on?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? And at 2:25 on the 15th, BP closes the valves on the cap and stops the oil from leaking out of the riser. So we're leaking out of the riser. Okay. On August 2nd, because the new capping stack worked, BP was able to attempt a static kill, a procedure in which drilling mud was pumped into the well through the bop, very similar to the failed top kill, except now that the capping stack was on, they were able to inject in a lower pressure during the status kill because the stabilizing influence of the capping stack. On April 21st, BP, this is April 21st, 2011, by the way. We are now next year.
Right.
BP provides trustees with $1 billion for early restoration. So generous of them.
Yeah.
And then our marine biologists do all the things they need to do to assess the damage to now marine life. A lot of it just shows like birth defects. Now we have low populations, which as long as we can get a control on us as humans, should not go back to normal, but population should pick up once those affected whales or dolphins or whatever die and cycle out, and now these new healthier.
Right.
But now with all these hurricanes, there's less salt water in the ocean, which kills our saltwater animals. That's
Right.
a whole different story to tell.
Yeah.
I did a whole paper on the dolphin population because of increased hurricane activity.
Yeah.
The oil caused a wide range of adverse health effects, such as reproductive failure and organ damage. The animals killed by these adverse effects attributed to the largest and longest marine mammal unusual mortality event ever recorded in the Gulf of Mexico. So, if you like dolphins, we've got to get this under control.
Yeah.
Do you like sea turtles? We've got to figure this out. Do you like whales? Do you like pelicans? Do you like birds? Okay. Oh, sorry. I don't really care for birds, but that picture of that pelican really disturbed me.
Yeah.
Covered in oil.
Sure, it's gonna fly.
I know. January 15th, 2015, final spill count 134 million gallons. I know. On April 4th, 2016, a settlement from BP awards $8.8 million for natural resources, the largest environmental settlement in history. And there's no way to undo all the damage caused by the spill. But that is quite a large sum of money.
Yeah.
But not really.
No.
I mean, it's only $8.8 million, which is a lot for me.
Yeah.
But then to be split up to help all of this,
yeah,
that's really not a lot of money.
No.
But they can use some of that to then, because they don't have to use it just for the restoration.
Right.
They can now use it to address other stressors to wildlife, blah, 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 whatever. This could have been fucking prevented.
Right.
The Deepwater Horizon challenged the spill response community and sparked a need for advances in science to help us prepare for future oil spills. I hate that it takes something so catastrophic for people to be like, you know what? I think we need better measures in place.
Yeah.
Those should be things we think about before, especially when it has to do with I mean, like we already knew the hazards of oil spills. This wasn't the first one.
Right.
This happened after the Exxon one. We knew.
Right.
We already knew. We were already donating Dawn dish soap to wash the ducks, and now you
But
guys
the
are.
Dawn dish soap doesn't wash the spaghetti out of my Tupperware.
That's crazy. Actually, why is the spaghetti staining? But we're using Dawn to clear oil off a little baby duck. Tell me. Dawn.
Yeah, Tupperware is going to be orange forever.
Yeah. The money did allow Louisiana to make real progress on efforts to rebuild its coastline, which was washing away long before the 2010 oil spill. So, if anything good came from that, it was money.
Yeah, because. Never mind.
Yeah, no, that's for another episode.
That's for another episode.
Wait, this actually was perfect.
Yeah.
Wow. Nux. Okay, and it spilled for 87 days.
Wow.
Scientists concluded that the Deepwater Horizon oil spill killed thousands of marine mammals and sea turtles and contaminated their habitats. So that was that.
That was a good one.
Do you think it was good?
Yeah.
Okay. You know a lot about oil spills now.
I do.
I feel like I know a lot about drilling rigs.
And it's kind of like, yeah, it does.
Leads
it
up for
kinda,
next week?
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to do next week?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Next week will be good.
Should I do it next week or
yeah.
like, should I do it since it's another? That's not really like man-made though.
No, it's not. It's a crime. If you ask me, it's a crime.
It's a fucking crime.
It's murder.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hell. That's mass murder.
Yeah, mass murder. Okay, yeah.
That's
so
domestic terrorism, actually. If you ask me, depends on who you ask. But if you ask me, if you guys have any suggestions of things you want to hear about, or ask us questions, we can address them in the comments.
Yeah.
Well, from the comments. I won't address them in the comments.
Like,
I'll address them right here.
Like, is my butt real? I'm just kidding.
Do you think my ass is real?
I'm just joking.
Would you prefer if I wore my glasses or not? Like, is this too much for you?
Yeah.
I like laser beams.
Does the slick back magnet make me look bald?
Okay.
I mean, another week.
So every Monday. And we hope to hear from you.
Yeah. Happy Halloween.
Oh yeah. Stay tuned for our Halloween pictures.
My God.
I was trying to maybe find like a Halloween or like a spooky thing, but they all felt really fake and short, like too short.
Yeah,
they were like ghost stories.
I've listened to some podcasts that do like Halloween, and they all seem to be really.
Yeah, because I looked on like, well, also I've been having sleep paralysis a lot, and so I thought maybe I would like retell a bunch of sleep paralysis stories. I'm just stressed out about other shit, which triggers sleep paralysis. I don't really have a sleep paralysis demon though.
That's good.
And then, which spiraled me, this is me spiraling right now. Have you heard of like the Hat Man, the Benadryl Hat Man?
No.
So a bunch of people say that when they take Benadryl and then they go to bed, almost like a sleep paralysis demon, he's your Benadryl demon. He's the Hat Man. He's let me show you a picture of the Hat Man.
They have like police sketches of it.
So the Hat Man kind of like, this is what they say the Hat Man
Why
looks
did I
like.
think that's exactly what it's gonna look like?
Yeah. Probably because you've seen him before. It's just you don't know.
Okay.
This is like, it'd be like your sleep paralysis demon. That's what you see. Do you ever have sleep paralysis?
I don't think so.
Where you just like can't move. You like you're awake but can't move.
No, I don't think I have.
I lucid dreamed the other night.
I can lucid dream.
Yeah, if I really, you know what I do to lucid dream, and this is probably too sexy for the pod, but I'll tell you.
Okay.
If I listen to an audiobook and fall asleep, I become part of the audiobook. Now, unfortunately, it's not the good parts.
Oh, okay.
Like I was Haunting Adeline fans, I fell asleep listening to Haunting Adeline, but it was I was lucid dreaming during the parts where Gigi was haunting people. Like I was being haunted. I wasn't being fucked, unfortunately.
Yeah,
because Zayd.
We watched The Conjuring again, classic.
Yeah,
the other night. You know, he's a traveler. He leaves his body.
In The Conjuring?
Yeah, the little boy.
That's not The Conjuring.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Not The Conjuring.
Yes, it is.
Not in The Conjuring. No. That's the other one.
No, Courtney, it's The Conjuring. The little boy, he goes to sleep one time and he doesn't get back. He falls in the attic. That night he goes to bed, and the next day he's in a coma. And he's in that house the whole time.
Sure, that's
yes,
The
they
Conjuring?
have to send his dad into the other side to go find
I
him.
don't think that was a different movie, but with the Will Arnett. Not Will Arnett.
No.
Will.
It's The Conjuring.
What's the other one I'm thinking of? With the
Maybe The Conjuring 2, 3, 4. I don't know how many there are.
No, this is The Conjuring.
Courtney. I know what The Conjuring is.
This is The Conjuring where they're in
Oh, you're right.
okay. The other one is with
That's The Conjuring.
No. That has a different name.
Courtney, no, that's The Conjuring.
No, it's Insidious.
Insidious. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, don't
Fuck. Fuck.
But to be fair,
Insidious.
to be fair, the reason you're confused is because Patrick Wilson is in both.
Yes. Gotcha. Okay. No, Insidious, but also both classics.
Oh, absolutely.
But what was I even talking about that
you
for?
watched it.
Oh, because he's dreaming.
astral
He's a traveler.
projecting.
Yeah, he astral projects. I'm like, dude, I think I do that sometimes.
When I was taking that bipolar medicine, I for sure was. But like while awake, I would get bigger and bigger and bigger until I was like looking over. And I do it while I was driving too.
Like
the steering wheel would get really big in my hands.
I can literally be like sleep. I can literally be in my dream, and I can just be like, I'll tell people this is just a dream.
I do that all the time.
It's no big deal. Like just don't worry about it. It's just a dream.
Are we witches?
I think I am.
Did you hear rambling again? But I was fortune telling.
Yeah. Wait, were you actually?
But
like, were you actually?
Yeah, they came up to my table and I was telling futures.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, a lot of it because I had my crystal ball, and I was like looking and I'll be like, I see like mischief in your future. So think twice or you'll get grounded, like whatever.
I love that. I didn't know you're actually doing that.
Yeah. And I'd be like, one girl, this is actually so good. And if this girl was older, we'd be best friends. She was my first one of the night too. I was like, this is setting me up really well. And I was like, she was like a little blonde girl. I said, I see that you will get prettier and prettier every year. And she goes, I know that's right. I died. I said, period.
What'd you tell Rory?
That I said, I don't think you're getting any snacks tonight. And she lifted up her candy bag. I said, you're not going to be able to eat any of it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Anyways, from Johnny's tent, Julie's friend came over.
Okay.
And he was like, read my fortune. And so I pretended to read his fortune. And I said, I see good grades in your future. And he was like, actually, that's really crazy. I said, why? He said, I just enrolled in college. And I said, well, fuck, I might be a witch.
Okay, you're telling me you did all 150.
Not everyone stopped. Some of the kids were afraid to get their fortunes told. I was like, do you want me to read your future? And they're like, no.
Oh,
period. Because also I don't want to know my future.
Wow, you really I thought you were just handing out candy.
No, Mom did that on the other side of I was separated. I couldn't see shit that was going on over there. And she kept going, don't forget to stop by the fortune teller. And I'm like, I'd get swaths of 7 at a time, and I'd have to come up with seven different. And I only had about 7 in my repertoire. You will be smart. You will be funny. You will be strong. I see mischief in your future. You will be successful in whatever you do. You will go on great adventures.
Wow.
And sometimes if they had I could tell what their costume was. It would be one guy came through with Steve from Minecraft.
Okay.
And I said, I see creepers in your future. And he loved it. One kid was a police officer. And I was like, I'm sensing some crime fighting. He was dressed as a farmer. I asked him what he was. I said, and what are you? And he said, a farmer. I said, I'm seeing a great harvest in your future.
Wow.
And he was so taken aback. He ran to his parents and he said, she told me that she sees a great harvest in my future. Yes, girl. I was telling futures. I told him and collectively him and Willow, I said, I see mischief in your future. And he goes, why?
Why?
I said, because it's you. Okay, this is going to be my thing at the end of every podcast, because this is what I said last time. I said sign off so I could tell you what happened to me this weekend. We're going to head out. We got shit to do.
Yeah.
Join us next week.
Yep.
For Santana's story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it'll be.
We do know.
Unless you decide to not do that one.
Yeah, but I think we should.
I think we should. So, okay, maybe I do know. Rate, subscribe, comment, follow, whatever. I did make a TikTok.
Oh, you did?
I made us a TikTok page and I made a TikTok. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Bye. Love you.
Bye. Love you guys. Love you all so much.
Love you so much.
I never want to live without you.
Thank you for listening to Murder, It's a Crime, presented by Courtney Duckweiler and Santana Duckweiler. Join us next week for an all-new story.